Let's see if I can get this. Nihil est melius quam vita diligentissima. That's going to be something I try to get right. I need to ask my Latin friend. Yes.
It's how you connect with the common man. Just everyday people like us. Just
Ithaca, that quiet, humble place, was where his heart belonged and where his strength was formed. In the same way, small town America is the Ithaca for each new generation. That was a lot of chops.
Well, I don't think
it's the place. That was
I'm
good.
not taking any chances.
Take one, take two, take three, take four, all in one.
Welcome back to the Heirloom Podcast. We're happy to have you here with us as we discuss small towns making big impacts across this country and the champions that make it happen.
This week, we want to talk about something important, something really important.
I feel like we've been running down a track of importance,
well,
but I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Like
this is a little deeper.
We were just rolling our sleeves up. No, today we want to talk about legacy.
Yeah.
What is legacy? And how often do you think about legacy?
That's a good question. I would say most people don't think about legacy so much as they think about what they do day to day. That essentially is building their legacy in a way. Because, in my
that's
mind,
exactly right, yeah.
What I define, if I were to define legacy, what is it? It's how we contribute. It's what we do, especially in a small town, but it's what we do to make our community better, to improve the lives of the people that we care about, whether we know them or don't. I feel like that's what our legacy is. It's that culmination. It's all of that over our lifetime, that life work, and whether or not we leave a place better than we found it is our legacy.
And that's the thing about legacy. The first thing we just say the word, I think the thought you got to recognize is that it could be good or bad.
Yeah, it's a net impact.
Yeah, because
nobody's perfect.
Right. Well, or think about this, like everyone leaves a legacy.
Yeah.
The idea of the word is actually like an ambassador. So someone who has authority would appoint an ambassador to go and act on their behalf, right? That was the idea of where the legacy, the root of it comes from.
Okay.
And so the word that helps would be you would be commissioned. You would come along beside them in a mission. The idea is that someone is executing the mission of the person who has left the legacy, is left behind. So it's kind of
somewhat of a trustee.
Right.
It's, someone has their legacy is what they have entrusted from a representation. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yes. So you do something. You work your whole life to establish a company. Mm-hmm. And that is your legacy. Let's say that's the thing that you really strive to do, and you built a great company, you created a lot of jobs. That was like the pinnacle of your legacy goals. Well, now that you've left it behind, the people who take that over from you, who are the recipients of that legacy, there's a sense in which they are continuing the mission of the company. So say they own the company, they took over ownership of the company, they continue the mission that you started.
Yeah.
And so that's the origin of the word, but simply it is the thing that you leave behind, something that you leave behind that continues to tell your story, or to
how one is remembered.
Exactly.
And for what they are remembered.
Exactly. And so then from there, you can recognize that legacy is not necessarily good. Some people leave legacies behind that are not to be treasured or not something that the family is proud of. Right?
Well, but to that point, even it may not be as black and white as it was good or bad. Maybe one's legacy to some was great, while that exact same action and effort to others
That's good.
was negative.
Yeah, so legacy it is the thing you leave behind, and it can be good or bad. But obviously, everyone works and focuses on what's the good they're going to leave behind. What are they striving to do? And the thing about legacy is it will sneak up on you. If you don't think about legacy, you're still working to leave behind something.
It's happening whether or not you're trying to achieve something great or not. Perfect example or a perfect scenario would be of a long life. You know, the life of someone who lives to be 100, and they have a full lifetime to leave their mark, to make contributions in multiple areas, and really be a positive impact in others' lives.
Yeah.
But what if your life is cut short? And you know, if you're not thinking about those things, then I mean, we don't know what tomorrow holds for anybody. And so I think it may be a little bit even irresponsible to not be living every day to its fullest, because you don't know when your story ends.
Yep, that's right.
And so you just have to, I think that's why it's so important to be diligent and be focused and be a hard worker as whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. And that's good.
Time may be limited.
That's true. And it is limited for everyone, but it could be more limited. And that's actually a great way to think, to start looking through that lens. So how can I live for legacy today? So when you start trying to define legacy, everyone always thinks of like the capstone achievement of your life, right? So of all the downtown projects that we've done 7 or 8 buildings downtown. We've opened retail stores. We've opened restaurants. Of all of those things that we have done, this project, this Heirloom Hotel project that we're setting in now, unfinished, it is our biggest project so far.
To date, yeah.
25,000 square feet. You know, so it's easy to think that this would be our capstone legacy project. But what I've come to think about and to find is that a lot of times men or women aren't remembered for the big project. They're remembered for their attitude at Thanksgiving. Or when I come home to my sons and my daughters, am I too distracted because I'm building the biggest project of my life to wrestle with them in the floor?
Yeah.
So you can see that while legacy, certainly there are great high marks in achievement that you leave behind, the things that end up having an impact inside families are oftentimes the stories that, you know, the story that Jim Rasberry used to always tell. You remember how he used to tell stories? It's the stories that you tell. It's the banana pudding recipe, right, that the aunt is remembered for. That's been, I mean, she died 40 years ago, and everybody's still bringing this out at the family reunion, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't just have to be the high and lofty and pinnacle achievement. It's also everyday living. The small things are, you know, am I listening to Lucy for you? Or,
and how great that is to not be remembered, hopefully not be remembered for only one thing, because that's a lot of pressure on that one thing. And what if you got it wrong? Yeah. What if you didn't do it right? What if you messed up? I would much rather be remembered for a life, whether it's short or long, a lifetime of work, because hopefully I got more right than I got wrong. And and I've got a greater chance of accomplishing that the longer time frame I got, I think, versus being remembered for that one thing that I either got really right or I got really wrong. There's a lot of pressure on that.
In living for that, like, one mark of legacy, that capstone project, that pinnacle project.
I want to back up a little bit, because I'm thinking about something that you're saying, that your legacy is really most important. The most important aspects of your legacy are what those people closest to you remember you for.
That's good. Yeah.
That means, you know, family, close friends, close relationships, close partners. It's my opinion that one's legacy in a small town may have a greater impact than one's legacy if done the exact same apple to apple comparison in say a much larger metropolitan area. I don't know if that's making sense or not, but what I'm saying is, if our impact in a small town generates big waves, that same impact in a huge city doesn't have the same wavelength.
Yeah. Normally, Jim, you're the best at analogies, but I think I got it.
Okay.
Have you ever got a beach ball and try to make a wave pool in your swimming pool?
I have not, but it seems interesting.
You've never done that.
I'm sorry,
You've never made a wave pool where you take a floaty.
It's called a cannonball, and that's plenty of waves for the pool.
Where you take the beach ball and you bounce it up and down, and you start getting a wave pool going.
Okay, I like it.
In a small
I'm into
pool.
it.
All right. So I can't believe you've never done that. Like, I guess, what are you doing? Just swimming laps in a pool?
You have boys. I have girls. We do flips and we play with princesses.
All right. So what we do in the pool, since apparently I got to lay it out in our swimming pool, normal size swimming pool, I'll take a floaty, like say a floaty on my chest.
Yeah, I'm getting
and
the concept.
I'll just jump under the water, back up.
Okay.
Down, up, down, up, down. And then I began to talk about the sea monsters that are out there in the waters, and the kids are getting excited. The waves are getting over their head. Before you know it, the waves are literally getting over the edge of the pool. They're splashing. I've watched my wife in the pool doing these things. I can make big waves.
That sounds terrible.
I can make big waves in a small pool. But now you put me in the ocean and you say, Josh, hey, make a wave pool out here.
You're not making many waves.
No, I'm going to look ridiculous. And in my swimming pool doing that, I'll look really cool. I
Somebody
don't look ridiculous.
Somebody'd be on the beach being like, there's a drowning man in the ocean.
What's this guy doing?
He's in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, in that pool, those waves really matter. They really make a difference.
They make a big difference.
And so in a small town, legacy does have a way of compounding.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like Susan Vincent, who we met with recently, talked about the parks that she put in the city. And every single project that she mentioned are things that I benefited from as a teenager, and I had no clue that she had done that. And the impact it had on my life.
And as we pointed out, had a direct impact to everything that's going on now, some 20, 30 years later.
If you think of that, the power of a small town to amplify legacy, it makes me glad to live in a small town.
I agree.
It makes me happy to live in a small town.
I got an analogy for you.
All right, here we go.
I think the
King
way
of
that
analogy, since apparently you've never made a wave pool.
Well, what I'm seeing right now is imagine a canvas that has already been painted, a big, beautiful canvas, and the mark you leave on the portrait that's already been painted adds to its beauty, adds to its complexity, no doubt about it. But for the most part, it's a cog in the overall project. A blank canvas, maybe it's smaller, maybe it's a little more manageable. But when you control every brushstroke of the entire canvas, it really the magnitude of it is impactful, more so than just a single brushstroke in a picture that's already been painted. I feel like small towns give people that want to be a part of their community a blank canvas. It allows them to contribute and improve lives for themselves and the people around them.
That's a great analogy. And thinking about legacy as something that you hand off to the next generation. Think about your grandfather's watch that he handed off to your father and that he's handed off to you. There's a certain responsibility when you receive that item of legacy, right?
That's right.
And so, like, what's fun about a small town, the handing of the baton is very intimate. Even if it's outside of family, it's someone you know, it's your neighbor. So in a small town, there are sometimes tangible legacy assets, but there's usually an idea or a virtue or a person, a personality behind it. And it's pretty cool to see how that plays out, again, even in a small town.
It's a great time to mention our sponsor, which is Rasberry Financial today, because it's such a pertinent topic when it comes to legacy, estate planning, financial planning. How do you want your legacy to impact not only your immediate family, but generations to come? And it takes planning. People don't plan to fail. They simply fail to plan. And if you have a plan in place, there's a much greater chance of having an impact on future generations for those that you love and care for.
That's good. Yeah, man. I always tell you, I think it's such good work that you do.
Well, thank you.
Helping people. And you'll find, I mean, some people probably come in your office with a little bit of guilt that they didn't start planning sooner, but it's really never too late to start that process.
It's never too late. And the best day to start planning was yesterday. The second best day is today.
Yeah. Or what is the saying? The best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Yeah,
that's true.
That's good. Jim, you noticed we're in an unfinished studio space.
Oh, is that what this is?
Mm-hmm.
I would have never known from the sheetrock and hanging wires.
Looking good, though, huh?
It is looking good.
Look behind you there at that wall. You see that hairy-looking stuff? Look behind you at that wall. You see that fuzzy stuff?
Oh, yeah. I see the fuzzy
You know what that
stuff.
is? That's rock wool.
I do know that's rock wool.
The best sound insulation in the world. Let's try something.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Keep talking? Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you. All right. I'm going to keep talking about this incredible product, rock wool insulation. It doesn't cut into your hands because it's not fiberglass.
It's not fiberglass, but I've been wanting to test. So what rock wool does is it kills sound.
Yeah.
It slays it like it's a dragon. That's what it does. Watch. So testing 1, 2. So let's see if this works. Okay. So testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Are you hearing me, Jim?
Well, these are some pretty good microphones.
Did this even work?
I would say more than anything.
Does it sound muffled?
It does definitely sounds muffled.
Like how muffled?
Like extreme.
Testing 1, 2.
I would say 90,
testing 1, 2.
90%
1, 2,
muffled.
3, 4, 5,
almost
6,
100%
7,
muffled.
8, 9, 10. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Rock wool insulation, we chose it for the hotel because we don't want noise to disturb our guests. So when we chose our I've got a little insulation here on the mic.
Well, it's its job. It's doing its job. It's insulating the mic.
Rock wool is some amazing stuff. When we were designing the hotel, it's the only insulation we would use because we know it has the capacity to deaden the annoying neighbor next door.
No doubt.
Rock wool insulation, very thankful for the sponsorship. Thank you so much, Rock wool. Cannot wait to continue this project when we actually finish the use of rock wool and we get the studio a lot quieter.
That way, when you cut your TV off, you don't have to listen to anybody else's either.
That's true. That's terrible at a hotel. Jim, it's time now for the big question.
Let me have it. Lay it on me.
This is the time. So, what would you say is your most important legacy? What do you think about maybe first or highest priority?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. And also, I feel like a little bit self-centered. Like if I were to be like, well, let me tell you about me. So here goes.
Well, that's a great legacy to leave behind. Thank you for.
It's tough, man. I don't mean to make light of it. It's just it's a tough subject. You do the best you can at what God's given you to the field God's given you to tend to.
It's good.
And if you do your best, I hope that a legacy is what you're remembered for. And for me personally, I hope that I leave this planet better than I found it. And I hope that my kids are proud of me. How long from now will the work that we do be remembered? I don't know. It's not forever. It's not. It may not even be that many years. So the impact that we have may be somewhat short-lived. Maybe there are people that are remembered in history for hundreds of years. Not everybody has that type of history. Not everybody's going to have that story. And so I think for me, it's not so much trying to create some long-lasting memory so much as I hope the people that I love most and that I care about most are proud of me, and when I'm gone, they have a fun story to tell about me. And I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds crazy, maybe a little weird, but I don't know that I want to just be buried and forgotten. I want to be remembered, and I hope that I don't necessarily want to be. I don't want it to be a sad thing, you know. I mean, I hope that I hope that I leave a legacy that can make people smile and can people are proud of.
Well, let me say first to your legacy, and I want to ask you about burial later because you just said something that reminded me of our past conversations. I want to answer that question, but I can't help commenting on one of your greatest legacies for me. Is I really don't think that I've had more belly laughter with anyone else in my entire life than Jim Rasberry.
Thanks, man.
I genuinely have such a good time having conversations with you and hearing your perspective, and I laugh a lot, and that's a pretty good legacy.
I'll take it.
But you said something when you were talking about legacy. You said, tending the field that God has given you.
Yeah.
And when I think about legacy, the first thought you have is, what can I do today that will have the longest impact? And as you said, you're right. Even great men who have done great things, as you've said before to me, their impact is a paragraph at most in the world history book. And so no matter if you build a building, this building we're building, 300 years from now, it's going to crumble. It's not going to be here anymore, 400 years from now. And so I always ask, what can I do that has the longest impact? And that's where my faith comes in. You said, God, I think about what can I do to please God? And to hear those words, well done, my good and faithful servant. That's the idea of the kingdom and the idea that there's things we can do on earth that will have eternal significance, right? There's something we can do here that will matter in eternity. That's pretty cool. It's taking worldly treasures and trading them for heavenly treasures, right? Or in that great movie, It's a Wonderful Life, there's a sign in George Bailey's office that says you can only keep that which you give away.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Isn't that the truth?
It's a pretty good sign.
What a great movie, too.
Terrible slogan for a banker. You don't want to be a shareholder in that bank and come in and be like, George,
take what you need.
Yeah. No, so there is an eternity to think about, and so can we do things that will impact eternity? So that's the first place my mind goes. But the second place is exactly where you went. You think of your daughters. So I think of my children. That's probably the next big impact as far as distance in the future. And so we have 4 children, and it is overwhelming to think that in 500 years, Emily, my wife, there could be 10,000 people that come from my wife, Emily.
You guys are fairly prolific.
And from our children's children, right? So the idea that our values and our faith can be picked up by our children and carried on to the next generation, and then it grows. Yeah. That's a pretty cool way to think about impacting the future. So, faith first, children and family second. And then my third way of looking at legacy, so think of those as lenses. One is a far off telescope lens, right? I can see into the distance of eternity. Maybe the next is binoculars, like, my children's children. And then the final way I think of legacy is more like a microscope. Today, what can I do? And if I had to pin something that I would want to be known for, it is diligence. So whatever I was doing, whether it was building a building or trying to build our factory or playing with my children or hosting a party, a fancy party, that I did it with my best effort. I did it with diligence, with all diligence, with excellence. That's probably like the micro level. Each day you wake up and you say, I'm going to do this task that's before me with as much diligence as possible, and then kind of leave everything else as it lays. That's
you're gonna go all out.
Yeah, or go all in. Yeah. So there's a guy. His name is Murray, and he is credited. He led a team that created the Oxford English Dictionary, which is a remarkable accomplishment. So pre-computers, this man and his team, they go through literature and they find the first occurrence of every word in the English language. And they find the word, what book it occurred in, and they noted that, every single word. So they go to all the origins of the word. It took them like 20 years. And give
me 200, I wouldn't get it done.
Exactly. And so his life motto was nihil est melius quam vita diligentissima. And you know what that means, Jim?
I love how you can really really drive home a point with such clarity. Yes. I don't know what that means.
So I didn't either, but this I heard this in a book called The Professor and the Madman. His life motto, nihil est melius quam vita diligentissima, and it means nothing is better than a life of utmost diligence. An utmost diligence. So a man obviously focused on finding every word in its first occurrence in the English language is a diligent man.
That's a diligent man right
He
there.
gets up at 6 a.m.
And you know what? That'd probably be my motto too.
Yes. Yeah. So, but the idea of diligence, when you wake up in the morning, whatever you do, whether it's welding a I-beam today, whatever you're doing, do it with diligence and just kind of trusting to let things fall where they may. That would be the micro view of what I want my legacy to be. Earlier, you said something about, your burial, which I thought was kind of morbid, but is that something you think about?
Well, yeah, I think about it. You don't ever think about it? Like,
of course,
past the cemetery and
Yeah.
think about being buried in a cemetery and it's like you're underground. Like, when's the last time you went underground?
That's what happens.
And all of a sudden, when you die, it's like, oh, we know what to do with him. Let's put him underground.
You're right.
6 feet.
You're right. Couple thousand years of religious history and tradition. No, what's better?
I'm not doubting that.
No,
I'm just saying the concept.
So what do you want to be done to you, Jim? Just so I know for the record.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, because if we're going to talk about it on camera, I mean, it's documented now. I would say
this will be evidence.
I mean,
That's
it's we're doing some like estate planning at the moment. I'm not crazy about being buried. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. And so, you think about alternatives and also equally not thrilled over the idea of like being converted into ashes through cremation. And so, I mean, I don't like, I get hot when I get close to the fireplace. So I'm just thinking like, all right, what do I want to have happen? And I think about, the kids, how often are they going to come see me in the cemetery? Are they going to leave flowers? Are the flowers going to be dead? Or are they, obviously they're going to be fake. And then how often are they changing those out?
And then they rot in the sun. They turn into
yes. And then what happens if the cemetery fills up? And then like all of a sudden they're like, well, we don't have any new revenue sources, so we're not going to be able to cut the grass anymore. And like, I don't know. It's just, there's a lot to think about there, a lot to unpack. And so I'm thinking, all right, what's going to be my best case of being taken care of for the longest period of time? Sounds crazy, but hear me out. If I were to be cremated, maybe be like put into a mold that would be, a nice design piece in the house where, the kids wouldn't be like weirded out by me being on the shelf. Like maybe like a bust.
A bust of like your face? Like
I don't know. Like maybe a great like Native American chief.
Because
I have Native American
history. So you want to be a fixture on the family shelf?
I mean, I feel like that's the greatest chance of like hanging around.
Let me ask you this question: How often does Mallory change the fixtures on y'all shelves? How often does she redecorate?
I mean, her great grandfather is not currently available, but I think in this discussion, if we had a family member, a beloved family member that was cast in bronze on a shelf, that we'd probably hang him around.
Even when maybe the style falls out of favor?
No. That style doesn't ever change. Depends on the personality, yeah.
All right, so
another option.
Okay.
Another option.
Right.
I've been thinking about this too.
You do think about legacy a lot, don't you?
It's not so much legacy as self preservation. Also, how often, guilty, how often are you going to see a great grandparent in the cemetery? Like, let's be honest. Not often.
I was adopted. I
don't even know where they are. So imagine if you had we're talking about being cast into something. What about if it was like like an artificial reef where like it was a fun place to go see and you're improving the world.
How?
by giving beautiful fish a place to live safely and responsibly. You're making fun.
No, I'm not.
But you know what?
You
The
never
concept of being buried 6 feet under, I'm just saying,
So-
maybe there's some alternatives.
So let me
6 feet underwater.
Let me
How
get
about
this.
that?
Let me just
Maybe
work it.
6
I'm
layers,
not. I'm
6
not.
shelves
no,
up.
I'm not making fun of anyone's plan. So get this right. You think that the great grandchildren, they're never going to come and see you in the cemetery, but maybe they're going to go deep sea diving, is what you're thinking. They're going to swim down and see you there with the fishes.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
It actually sounds pretty magical.
Thank you.
So, and coral will grow on it?
I don't know the specifics of this.
What does Lucy and Mallory think about this?
I don't. We should talk about it more often, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man. Goodness. People do try to live forever, don't they, Jim?
I'm not trying to live forever, Josh.
Just as a piece of furniture on your great-granddaughter's shelf. It actually does sound nice to have a bronze cast.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, honestly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about you?
I want to be buried like every normal person.
Sure hope the cemetery pays their bills.
What do I care?
What do you think? What do you care? I think that was the answer to the first question. What do I care?
So the weeds are a little high on my tomb.
Throw me in some metal and put me on a shelf.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Prop me up.
I'm
So did you.
good. I'm glad we have
Can we
that.
cue that song right now?
Yeah. We'll have that on tape. We'll make sure that your family hears about it. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. It's been a great episode. I've
Absolutely.
enjoyed the conversation.
I always
Josh.
enjoy it. It's always good to think about legacy.
Yep.
And let's go have some good belly laughter.
Let's go belly laugh, baby. It's Friday.
It is. I love Friday, Jim. My favorite day.
I agree. All right, guys. We'll see you next time on
Thanks,
the next
guys.
episode of the Heirloom Podcast.